Hello, everyone. Today I will tell you about the first 6 episodes from the anime Parasite, The Doctrine of Life Put Likes. If you want to continue, stop mysterious parasite creatures have penetrated the earth, whose only task is the destruction of humanity. They eat the brain and then replace the head with themselves and control the body so they can feed on other people. Some parasites eat the families and friends of their carriers, and some Shinichi was lucky when the parasite tried to get into his head. He was listening to music with headphones. Then the parasite tried to get into the brain through the circulatory system through his arm, but Shinji pulled it over the wire from the headphones, had to stay in the snake's hand, and soon tried to tell his parents everything. But they did not believe him in the morning when he came down to breakfast. His hand seemed numb, and on the way to school, she began to live her own life at all. He grabbed his classmate Saito Memorana by the chest, because of which she was terribly offended. I didn't want anything like that. Then an incredible thing happened at all. Shinichi saved the girl by stopping the car that almost crushed her at home. He decided to check if the hand really belonged to him, and when he was going to stick a knife into her, she turned into a shapeless talking creature. She still spoke badly, so Shinichi could not question him. After that, his appetite woke up, although he had eaten little before. His parents even decided that he was ill. Meanwhile, in the city, they began to find the dismembered corpses of the maniac who had done this was called the Butcher Killer in the morning. Shinichi woke up and saw his right hand turned into a parasite and was studying books. He said that he had to absorb Zumi's brain, but could not now. Already he grew up and he will have to live in the place of his right hand on the way to school. He felt another representative of his species, despite the protests of Shi. He insisted that they find him another parasite turned out to be in the dog's body, and he attacked. They had to kill this creature with his right hand. Meanwhile, the parasites are capturing more and more people. One of them saved the girl from rapists, and when they caught up with him to take revenge, he killed them and the rescued girl at the same time. At physical education, Shinichi reconciled with Murano and Nagaya. Didn't like it, he wanted to meet her, so he decided to deal with Zumi. Nogai started his to beat up, and Shi's right hand of nobody answered him. So the boy ran away in fear. Now he will strike, calls himself Miji, which means right hand. When he and Shinichi find themselves on a busy street, Miji feel that they're being watched. They go to a wasteland, and the pursuer comes here. Seeing that Miji has not captured the head of the carrier, he offers to become part of his body so they will become stronger and live longer, but Miji refuses. He is not sure that he will be able to settle into a new body, and without a carrier, he will not survive. Miji cuts off the head of his opponent, and he dies after this incident, and soon went to a cafe with Murano, and on the way back, they bullied the kitten Shine. She freed the unfortunate animal and drove the boys away. In Moran's eyes, he became a hero. That same night, Tamiya River and Mr. conceived a child. Their bodies were also invaded by parasites, and June worries that he can't tell anyone about what happened to him. Besides, he and Migi know that the killer butcher is an alien parasite. Meanwhile, Shinichi's parents begin to suspect that something is wrong with Duzumi. He seems to have changed and become somehow different on the way to school. Migs feel a very strong parasite when they come to study. They are announced that a new teacher at school, Rikote Shinchai, understand that she is the parasite they felt, and she notices the river. Nobody's after school there. I invite Izumi to the teacher's room for a conversation. She notices Migi and decides that this is a rather unusual symbiosis of a parasite and a human, and makes an appointment outside the school where they can talk calmly to me. Tamiya comes with Mr. He doesn't like Shinichi. He believes that he should be killed, and at the same time, Migi, since he failed to capture the head of the Dizun carrier, came to school again. Mr. Amigi showed up there and felt that he had come for them. The director announced the evacuation of school children because of an outsider in the building. Mr. Ray had already killed several teachers. Midi wanted to hide behind other students, and then while Mr. was busy destroying them, kill him himself, but Shinichi was against it. He ran into an empty corridor and barricaded himself there. He and Midi made a new battle plan, while Izumi would have to help the parasite to do this. Miji cut off the leg of a chair and gave Shinichi as a weapon. Mr. Jumped into the corridor from the lower floor inside the barricades created by Zumi, and they both had nowhere to run. The limited space played into their hands Shinichi, while Miji was fighting with Mr. And Zumi was slowly advancing. He hid the leg of the chair in his pant leg, and when they came within striking distance, Shinchi plunged the guns into the opponent's chest. Mr. did not expect such a turn. He began to bleed, and so that his body would not die, he pushed the leg further and escaped. Shinichi did not follow him. He did not want to become a murderer, but he could not want to become a murderer. But he could not believe that some man had killed him. He needed to move into a new body in order to survive. He found in the laboratory, where at that moment Reiko Tamiya was hiding. But when he entered, Kami jumped out of the window, blowing up a balloon from oxygen. Soon after this incident, life got into its rut at school. They found out that River was expecting a child and called for a conversation. She did not want to answer questions from colleagues and therefore simply quit. After leaving school, she intended to kill Shinichi because she no longer had to hide. However, after talking to him, she changed her mind. She was sure that Izumi was changing because of the symbiosis with the parasite and wanted to see what it would lead to when the River returned home. Here, Mother came to her there. I tried to deceive her, but the woman realized that her daughter was in front of her. I had to kill her. Shinichi's parents decided to go for a rest in nature, and Izumi was against it, because if he was not around, one of the parasites could kill them. But Miji advised him to let them go away from big cities. There was less chance of a parasite attack. Then Shinichi told his parents that he would not mind if they left, and they went on vacation. A car with a man and a woman was driving along a country road. The man was distracted and got into an accident. His companion was not fastened and flew out through the windshield, and he remained relatively intact. It turned out that the woman was a parasite. When her body died, she cut off the man's head and took his body. But it was difficult to manage it. The parasite needed a female body that was more familiar to manage. On the way home, Shinichi saw Nagai being shot down in the alley, and he stood up for him. However, Migi was asleep at that moment, and Zuma had to deal with the hooligans himself. He was also beaten up, but he did not leave. Then, Kanak and Masima, who was here, told her and put him straight. She looked into Shinichi's eyes and saw something frightening there because Izumi stood up for Nagai, and at school he began to be respected, but the guys from Mitsuha gangs decided to teach him a lesson for this act. They grabbed Moran and started beating Shinichi when he tried to free her. Migi was ready to intervene and kill the Hogans, but Izumi restrained him. Nagai and the guys from school helped him. They taught the scoundrels after that Kana came up to talk to Shinichi. She began to suspect that he was hiding something. Midi said that Kana felt his parasite, who was looking for a woman's body to move into it, found a married couple. They turned out to be Shinichi's parents. That his father was alive in a collision with a parasite. He managed to call his son and inform him that his mother became a monster after a while. Nabuka returned home, but Shinichi refused to believe that his mother was captured by a parasite. She took advantage of this and pierced his chest. Miga had to move into Izumi's body to heal his wound. After waking up, Shinichi felt that he had become to others. His eyesight improved and he felt differently. Migi also changed. Now he needs to sleep for 4 hours a day. The only way he can fully recover his strength. Shinichi got a call from the hospital and was informed that his father was alive. And Jun got ready and went to him. The way to the hospital was suggested to him by a local girl. Her mother gave rooms for guests and Shinich stayed with them. His father was convinced that the monster who killed his wife was actually alive on the beech tree because she was seen at the hotel where the couple stayed, but she did not know who his mother had become, so he decided to keep watch at his father's hospital so that she would not kill him anywhere. She would come for him, Izumi. He was sure, and at that moment he wanted to destroy the monster that killed his mother. Finally, Miji felt a parasite nearby and Shine-Chi rushed after him. He became stronger and faster. He even managed to jump over a high wall on the beach, and at that moment, Migi realized that somehow he changed his carrier. That's all for today. Put likes and write comments if you want more similar videos.